I'm super fired up to be here. Um, thank you so much. I want to thank everybody, all the organizers, the board, everybody involved with this amazing convention. And thank you so much for including me. I am absolutely honored to be able to do this, especially a day after National Persons with Disability Day. It was which I hosted a big event in Spruce Grove, Alberta, Canada. Not sure if people around the world, so have to specify that. I'm really, really excited to be here and share my story with you, share my experiences. And please, any question at all, I'd be happy to help. I see the chats going. And like I said, I'm going to leave about 10, 15 minutes at the end. People want to jump on videos so I can see them and we can interact that way at the end as well and answer your question. Feel free to do that. I have no problem at all. So my name is Brad Bartko. I'm 30 years old. I'm from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. But life wasn't always like this. I wasn't supposed to make it 30 years. When I was born, my mom was 16 when she had me. Didn't know she was pregnant. I had no idea. I thought she was going in for an appendix surgery, and found out she was pregnant with me. Um, Through some tests and different things, they found obviously I was there, but in a dry amniotic sac. So I had to come out immediately. How it was explained to me is they hit the eject button right away. The umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck. Very lack of oxygen. I was basically dead when I came out, and they gave me 24 hours to live, just like that. 24 hours. They told my parents to brace for the worst. My mom was 16. My dad was 18. And the running joke now is, and we can joke about it a little bit now, is I look pretty good for 30 years dead. I'm not supposed to be here. So every day is a blessing. Every day is a true honor to be able to do what I do and speak and travel this great country and do do some amazing things. So growing up, I went to a normal public school. I was diagnosed, it wasn't until I was 2 years old. I was diagnosed officially with a disability called CP or cerebral palsy. I have a mild form of CP, but severe spasticity. So, lack of better terms, my bones just grow faster than my muscles, and things are a little bit tighter to move around, especially in the winter when it gets colder and different things. I'm not in a lot of pain. I don't take medication, none of that. Very lucky. But I do feel it, the odd time when I get up, my back will stiffen up or my knees and stuff like that. And we just, we work through it with physical therapy and movements and different things and keep myself nice and warm. We go to warm climates, like hopefully Mexico for a week in January. It'd be nice. Um, but I've had 27 operations in 30 years as well. Any bone you can think of was broken, not by me, by doctors to make my life just a little bit easier. I've had, anything from my jaw busted to my legs broken. I've had Botox to help loosen up those muscles, as I just talked about. I've had Botox just on itself probably about 30 times in over 30 years. They just, inject needles right into my hamstrings, right into the tight areas. And, it's for me, it's still recovery. It takes about 2 to 3 days for me. I'm laid up as the pain and stuff like that. I've had my jaw broken and busted and moved forward because I've had an overbite and various different things. Uh, But I'm here today to share hopefully some inspiration. Hopefully this fires some people up. And I also want to warn people, I do have I'm just a very fiery guy. I got a lot of energy, a lot of emotion. So I might drop the occasional swear word. It's nothing against you. I don't want an HR claim. It's part of me and my story, I promise. That's it. I'm just I want to be as real and as authentic as I can with you this entire hour because it's going to go by very, very fast. And as you can tell behind me, I'm a massive sports fan. I'm not sure if you can tell lots, but Wayne Gretzky's on my wall, John Elway, Connor McDavid, and obviously Edmonton, so big Oilers fan. big hockey fan. But growing up, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to become a sports broadcaster. I wanted to be the first ever sports broadcaster to be disabled and call games and call hockey games. And I remember growing up and watching games with my grandpa on a Saturday night hockey night in Canada, and that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to do. And I remember people growing up, they're like, you can't do that. That's impossible. A broadcast booth, not accessible. There's stairs. There's all these different things, all these barriers that people wanted to throw at me. And I said, you know what? Throw it at me. Let's go. And let's break them down as we go. And I was very, very blessed. And I'll kind of, I don't like to jump, but I want to jump just to kind of give you the full picture. So when I when I was in grade 12, I was 17. And before broadcasting school, I knew I was going. I got accepted into Nate. That was my next journey. But before I wanted to get there, I wanted to walk across the stage to receive my diploma for grade 12 graduation. So the doctors came to me and said, Brad, we want to break your legs. We want to fully reconstruct your legs and help you walk better, and help you walk straighter, and help you walk more secure. And I kind of made a joke about it. I'm like, well, are you going to do it surgically? Or are you going to do it with a hammer? Are you going to do it behind the school in the school playground? Where are you doing it? Find out they were doing it. Obviously surgically repaired. It was a massive surgery though. It was going to take me away from my school. I was going to have to finish school in the hospital. I was going to have to do 9 months of rehab, a very intensive rehab in house. I got to only go home on weekends. So every other day, Monday to Friday, my home was a hospital room, or I had my own room. They let me bring in my TV and video games and all that stuff, but I was not around my family, which was very, very difficult and very hard. But I had goals in mind, and that helped me get through the rehab when the pain was high, when I didn't feel like getting in the pool, when I didn't feel like getting out of bed, when I was, that depression kind of kicked in a little bit for me. I just reminded myself of what I and why I was doing this. I was doing this to get better and become a better version of me, myself, and for my family and for my future. So nine months went by. I finished school, so I technically graduated in the hospital. They gave me like a certificate, but I was able to go back and get my actual diploma on the day of my graduation. This is something cool though. Nobody knew I was coming back except the people that bought tickets for me. So my family, couple of my close friends, but a lot of I think I had 30, 40 family members in attendance. And when I walked in that door, I physically walked in with my walker, walked in the door. The principal grabbed me, my teacher's assistant grabbed me, and all these people swarmed me right away. And they pulled me in their office and they said, Brad, you can't do this. It's too dangerous. It's too dangerous. You can't do this. You're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna, reset back to what you're doing. And again, I want to remind people, my dog's barking because he hears renovations. It's fine. We're okay. Again, we continue. And they wanted to just throw these barriers at me. They wanted to do everything they could to stop me to reaching my goals. And this is a big goal for me too. My grandpa was sick at the time. He was one of my biggest mentors. He was in the crowd that day, so I knew I was gonna do it. And so I made a compromise. They had like an elevator platform type thing to get me up to the stage, still behind the curtain, and then I could still walk out and receive my diploma. So okay, that made them feel better. Whatever. We made a small compromise. It's fine. So I'll never forget this, guys and girls. When I walked around that curtain, 2,000 people stood on their feet and chanted my name. Tears running down my face. all the emotions you can think of. I looked out at my family, I looked out at my peers, and I said, we did it. All the 9 months, the 10 months that we were rehabbing, that we were working through things, I did it. I accomplished it. But because I'm a very goal driven person, I already had my mind set on something else. It's like, okay, cool. We accomplished this and we set the tone for somebody else to come do it. But what's the next goal? So then we went to college and we graduated radio and TV. I got to call 3 straight years of men's and women's college hockey. We made it work. Yeah, they had stairs to their broadcast booth. We made it work with different things and ice level broadcasting or different things. And 3 straight years, both men's and women's team won championships. So I was part of calling a winning hockey culture, and that was incredible. That was amazing. And as I was wrapping up college, I met my wife. We actually met online. My wife and I met online. She's from Ontario, a small town in Ontario, and already moved here for work. She was here doing an apprenticeship. She's in construction. Again, a male dominated industry. So she even had to overcome, a hell of a lot to do what does and gets to where she needs to get to. So, we've been together. We've been together now 12 years, married for 7. It's been an incredible journey. It's that's my rock, and that's part of the reason why we continue and I continue to keep doing what I'm doing. So I soon realized, though, after college, getting a job in broadcasting is not so easy. They wanted me to bounce around from small town to small town to small town, live out of a suitcase, and try and catch my big break. I wasn't just going to be handed a job at Sportsnet, a job at TSN, a job at a major station. Um, and I realized, I still had to go through some minor surgeries. Again, my wife was here, my girlfriend at the time, and I just didn't feel comfortable, you know, moving away and getting away. So I found it was more of a hobby than a career. So at 22 years old, I really had to rethink life and reevaluate life. And at 22, I started a business. I was in the financial field. I knew I wanted to help people. I knew I wanted to give back. I knew I wanted to, I'll tell this story now. These jerseys behind me, okay? These jerseys behind me. All these people behind me won championships. They were great in their own way. They were an MVP. They were all stars. They were Hall of Famers. They're incredible individuals. But I can't be them. I can only be me. There's only one Brad Bartko, right? So when I look up at these jerseys for inspiration for me, because that's what motivates me, I want a little boy or a little girl, the next generation, to have a jersey with my name on the back of it and say, because he didn't quit, because he didn't give up, because he said no, because he paved the way and knocked down barriers, I'm still here. So, like I said, I started my own business in the financial field. I loved it. I did that for 8 years. I built a book of business. I loved helping people. But then the pandemic hit. And that, I knew getting into it, I didn't want to do it long term. I wanted to do it something else. Guys, at 28 years old, I launched after conversations with my wife and conversations with my best friend of 22 years. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was like, man, I'm a failure at 28 years old. What am I going to do? I got all this life to live. My friends are succeeding. My family's succeeding. What am I going to do? But I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to pave my way. So I remember sitting down with my best friend, again, 22 years. We've been friends. We're still best friends today. He was the best man at my wedding. He sat me down over a beer and he goes, Brad, why don't you start a disability business? I said, that sounds great, but what do you mean? He goes, you're a voice. You're a voice for the disabled community. He goes, people listen to you. You're charismatic. You're funny. You're likable. all these different things, you could be that voice of change. You could be that voice of reason. So I went back to my wife. My wife's in construction. My wife knows code and accessibility and all these different things. So we had this conversation and said, what does this look like? And guys, I want to tell you something. I'll go back to a story that I experienced at 18 years old that changed my life for, I would say, the better now, but at the time it really impacted me. I was at a bar or restaurant at 18 years old with a group of friends. I was having a good time. I love to dance. I love to bust a move. I love to, at that point, we're having a couple of drinks. I was celebrating a friend, and I had to use the bathroom. And ladies and gentlemen, the only bathroom they had was down 9 stairs. I'm in a power wheelchair full time, something you can't see. So I got 4 wheels strapped to my ass. So I looked at this manager and I looked at this waitress and I said, hey, it's not your fault because you're not educated enough. We need more awareness. It's not your fault, but unless you want me to go down those stairs and you pick me up at the bottom, that ain't going to work for me. We need to do something else. So the manager says, hey, I got something for you. No problem. Follow me. So he grabbed the key from behind the bar. And ladies and gentlemen, this is where it gets very awful. This is where it gets awkward. I want you to feel my anger. I want you to feel my frustration and to know that we need to get better. Okay. So he led me through an active kitchen. I'm stepping over cooks. I'm stepping over other waitresses. They're physically moving kitchen equipment out of the way to get me through. You got to understand something when I tell you this. I didn't feel like a human being at that point. I felt like a circus animal. I felt like an alien. I stuck out like a sore thumb. I felt like a burden. I didn't belong. It's almost like the world stopped for a minute. You can hear people, whispering and talking about you behind your back. Like I'm sure that happened. I'm not sure, but that's how I felt. Like just kind of all eyes on you. And finally he gets through this kitchen and he gets me down this dark hallway. It's so dark, guys. He needs a flashlight. And so I asked him, I said, where the hell are we going? I might as well pee in the back alley at this point. Like, what are we doing? So finally, we get to this door, and he opens this door with the key that he grabbed from behind the bar, if you remember. Guys, he opened the door, and it was a glorified storage closet. Wet floor signs, tables, chairs, mops, you name it, from floor to ceiling, front to back. It was full. And in the very back, there was a toilet. So it used to be a bathroom, but there was no grab bar, no nothing. So, me being me, I asked him 2 questions. I said, how do you want me to get in here? Because it's going to take you 15, 20 minutes to clear all this out. And I got to pee. And if you don't understand, people with disabilities, I've been pretty blessed that way. But a lot of people with different disabilities don't have the same bladder control as regular people do. So when we got to go, we got to go. And it's now. Like, let's get it done now. So I said, this is going to take you 15, 20 minutes. And I said, number two, I said, there's no grab bar. So I said, it's not your job to help me because that's not your cup of tea. That's not your job description. It's not your job to help me. But if I fall and hurt myself, sir, no offense, but I can sue you. And you need to remember, he was 45 years old. I was 18, 45, 50 years old. I was 18. And he looked at me dead in the eye without hesitation, without a blink. And he said, it's not my problem that we don't get many of you people in my establishment. Ladies and gentlemen, that story changed my life. Fast forward now, okay? Fast forward to 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I talked to my wife. We needed to start a business. But let me tell you something about starting a business. I didn't want to be a nonprofit, ladies and gentlemen, and nothing wrong with nonprofits. Nothing. I own one. I have one. I'm incorporating one. It's fine. But I didn't want to be a pat on the back. I didn't want to be just another thing. I didn't want people to just feel sorry for me. So I wanted to start a for profit business. I feel like I got value. I need to make money. I got a roof to put on over my head. I want to be a contributing member to this society. So you were going to pay me to come in and consult. And so where we started, that bar story that I just told you, that's where we started. They were my first ever client. And here's what we did. We went in and we trained their staff on how to better handle people with different disabilities, what to look for, how to ask questions, simply asking questions. That goes a long way. People are so awkward and standoffish, and just ask questions. Ask, ask. We taught them, what about, I know only a small percentage of blind people read Braille, but what about Braille menus? What about a tablet to communicate? All these different things. Because when I went to a bar and restaurant, they would ask my wife what I want to eat or drink. And my wife goes, it's a running joke now, but my wife goes, I don't know, Brad, what do you want to eat or drink? And they go, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry you could speak." Right? It shocks people. So we need to educate. We need to bring awareness, but we need to go above and beyond that. We need to teach people how to hire people with different disabilities and what that does for their establishment. Because I don't know about all of you. I don't know if there's anybody disabled in this chat or in this conversation. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be just a Walmart greeter. I don't want to be just your stereotypical job. What if somebody wants to, be a cook and they got those skills? What if someone wants to, what if they want to work at a carnival or a festival or whatever and interact with people every day? We can do that. We got to give people the skills to be able to help people and do that, right? And then the second part to that, guys, is with my wife's construction background, we were able to go in and make changes for them and offer them recommendations. And then I would build a report. So me, look, I'm only a mobility user. I only know what it's like to be in a wheelchair and a wheelchair only. I don't know what it's like to be deaf. I don't know what it's like to be blind. I don't know what it's like to be autistic. So for me, I reached out to all these communities. I said, "Hey, I need your help. When I'm working with somebody, a bar, restaurant, whatever it is, when I'm working with somebody, I'm coming to you for your expertise." And they love that. People are like, "Oh my God, let's build a community. It's great." Guys, in 6 months, we did 36 bars and restaurants all across Edmonton, mostly downtown, but all across Edmonton. 36 bars and restaurants. That's what we were going to do for the next 5 years until get my business established, get us going, and then work out. And then my business changed forever. The mayor of my hometown, Spruce Grove, Alberta, he just got elected at that point, just a couple months prior. He reached out to me. He saw what we were doing online. We're getting a lot of media attention. I'm my own PR guy. So if I don't talk to people, there is no business, right? I'm doing anywhere from 20 to 30 meetings a day, talking to people, letting people know who we are and what we do and how we can help them. And the mayor reached out and says, "Hey, Brad, we need your help." I said, "What do you need?" He goes, "We want to build a fully accessible building, 133,000 square foot building, but we want your help with accessibility recommendations and we want to hire you." And at that point, they wanted to pay me $10,000 to do this job. That was my largest job ever. And again, I don't do this to brag. I do this to show you what's possible. 7 months into business. So we were able to we were able to do that, and we offered them 21 recommendations, and they accepted 19 of 21 recommendations. We read blueprints. We did all that fun stuff. It was absolutely amazing. It was incredible. We went to all these different communities, all these different, disabled communities and said, "Hey, what do you need for this building to be accessible? What do you need?" And it was awesome. It was incredible. And then our business just exploded. Stony Plain, the town next to Spruce Grove, they reached out. They're building a rec center, smaller. It's only about 100,000 square feet, just under that. They accepted 15 of 17 recommendations, and we were able now. They're building a curling rink inside. We're able to bring them accessible curling to the community. Again, an added value. What if people in that community want to curl? They don't need to drive to Edmonton anymore. They don't need to drive all over. They can be in their town, in their city. Same with the building in Spruce Grove. One of the rinks, there's two hockey rinks in there. I played sledge hockey for 16 years at a very high level. I was one of the last cuts of the 2010 Olympics. Don't remind me, it still hurts me today. It's okay. It was a great experience though. Um, so with that one rink, we wanted it to be fully accessible. People can host sledge hockey events. They can their local teams, tournaments, whatever. And I pitched it as look at the revenue that comes to your town. Look at the people that stay in your hotels when they come in for a tournament. They eat at your restaurants. All these different things that make your town money. Because let's be honest, everybody talks money, 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 right? And and I was tired of people with disabilities being seen as just money, but value. We can see as money because let's be honest, money makes, in a nutshell, the world go round. You need some kind of money to to live some way. So, but there needs to be an added value. And guys, to find out, we're the only country or the only company that does what we do specifically. We're the only ones that do our training our way. And I'm the only company that has a construction background, thanks to my wife, attached to it. And then from there, I remember leaving that meeting in Spruce Grove, guys, 7 months into business. So this is now month 8 because there's about a month in between. Month 8, I got a phone call from the federal government. Typically, it's not a good thing when the government phones you. But the government phoned me and said, Brad, we want to congratulate you and your company for the work that you've done in your community. You were one of 7,000 people to receive the Queen's Platinum Jubilee Medal for the work that you've done in our community. 8 months into business, I didn't even know what a Queen's medal was. We were just very, very excited to receive it and get it. And it is the last one because obviously the Queen is no longer with us. So that was even extra special and extra, it was just a really cool touch. And then, I mean, you want to talk about crazy, not just a year into business, we got a phone call from the Greatest Outdoor Comedy Festival. So, an event, they're an outdoor comedy space based in Edmonton. They're all across the country. And I connected with the main guy, and they wanted their Edmonton show, just their Edmonton show last year, to be accessible. We helped them with their website. We helped them redesign their website and added language to so people could easily navigate their website. We're updating it again this year, so it will become better. But they also wanted site walkthroughs, so we helped place their bathrooms everywhere. We couldn't get interpreters, unfortunately. By the time they hired me, it was like 3 weeks to the event, and you need to book interpreters. So we apologize for that, but next year we will have those. Um, but we did so good in Edmonton; they loved our work that we got to go to Calgary and Vancouver with them last year as well. They paid us to travel with them, and then this year we did so well and better than they expected. They're taking us all across the country. 9 different shows this summer coming. 9 shows every second weekend. I'm gone. I'm literally in a different city, traveling and making things accessible. It's been unbelievable. It's been incredible. That relationship was awesome because from there they connected us to K Days, so the festival in Edmonton, the Midway, we did all 10 days there. And the cool thing about that is they gave us 20 tickets to give away to K Days. and we were able to give away uh, 10 for 10 different people with different disabilities and their companion or their spouse, so 20 tickets to give away and go experience a midway. And I wanted to hear about their experiences, and that went in my report. We built them a 50-page report on how they can become better, and why they need to hire a person like me, and all these different things. And now we're doing the Calgary Stampede next year. But I'm just got booked to do the Edmonton Airport. They're going through a massive renovation, so to be able to help with that and do that. But ladies and gentlemen, I tell you this again, not to brag, but to show you what's possible, and to pave the way, and to use your voice for good. You know, there's so many people out there right now that I live by a saying, it's not about me, it's about we. I mean, COVID, I thought, and I'm not going to get into it, but I thought because when a pandemic happened and everybody was going through the same thing, people would come together. Instead, they grew apart because of whatever. So I wanted to bring people together again through my business. We're hiring people with different disabilities to do what we do now. You know, all across the country, all this stuff. It's been great. But something really cool, guys, is I said that's our business. That's how we make money. I was, I'm not on Asia anymore, which is awesome. That's 15 or $1,600 a month or whatever that is. That's what the government told me I was worth. The government told me I was worth that. And I said, fuck it, I'm worth more than that. I bring an added value. And I hate, again, we just crossed over $100,000 in income in our business just this year. It was absolutely incredible, absolutely awesome. Again, I don't tell you that because it's me, but I want other people to go and achieve that and go and do that. Um, so that was cool. I want to tell you another really quick story about the government and what they and how they impacted my family. Nothing against the government. They're just certain things. And I'd love audience participation on this one if possible. If any of you are married or been with a spouse a long time, when you got married, did the government phone you or your spouse and give you a survey? Just a simple yes or no in the chat would be good. I just want to, and then thank you. I see a no. See a no. Okay. Here's where I'm going with this. So when the government found out I was getting married, my government support worker, because I was on ACE, my government support worker phoned me and said, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to your wife. And I'm like, this is very weird. This is very strange. And my wife's a no bullshit kind of lady. Like she'll give it to you the way she gives it, and that's you either like it or you don't like it. That's fine, right? Um, so I handed my phone to my wife, and she's a kind. I love my wife, but when it comes to stuff like that, she's got no time for it at all. Um, I'm gonna tell you some of the questions she was asked. Does Brad make you want to do? Does being with Brad make you want to do hard drugs? Does being with Brad make you depressed? Does being with Brad make you want to commit suicide? Oh, and by the way, because you're marrying Brad and you're together with Brad, I think you should quit your job and take care of him full time. Unfortunately, that's not how we work. My wife is not my caregiver. My wife is my wife, not my caregiver. My wife is my wife. So my wife turned the tables on this lady and said, are you married? She goes, yeah. Okay, great. When you got married, this is what my wife said. When you got married, did you phone or did somebody from your company, the government, phone you and ask you the same questions that you just did with me? They go, no. So what makes you think it's okay to ask me these questions? What we do in our relationship and what we do is none of your damn business. And that was the end of that conversation. They They never call back. It's been incredible since. So that's our business in a nutshell. I'd love for you to, I'd love for you to contact me. I'd love to have conversations. Any way we can help you, head over to www.disabilityabd, so Apple Banana Dog.com. That's our brand new website. It's still getting renovated, but that is up. And please, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach out on Instagram, Disability ABD. You can reach out on Facebook. Disability Accessible by Design is our official consulting company. We also, I want to dig in real quick. We also have a soon to be nonprofit side. Again, as some of you would know, or maybe not, nonprofits take a long time to get into place, and paperwork and red tape and so my goal was to get the business up first, so I can make money, establish ourselves first, and then the nonprofit, not the other way around. So here's what we wanted to do. Ladies and gentlemen, for years I surveyed the community, and there's a massive gap in our community. People with disabilities are the largest minority in the planet. I don't want to offend anybody here because that's not what I do, okay? My heart is full of love. I love everybody equally. I got family members and friends in all other minorities across the planet, whether you're gay, whether you're black, whatever it may be. But I'm gonna tell you something. We are the largest minority on the planet, yet we are the least talked about. The Black Lives Matter community's got to see at the table. The gay community's got to see at the table. All these the indigenous community's got to see at the table, and that's great. Again, we all need to be talked about. We all need to be represented. This is fantastic. But guess what, guys? I can't be black. I can't be indigenous. I can't be. Well, I guess I could be gay, but I'm not gay. All this stuff. But one thing we all have, actually, we have three things in common. We all pay taxes. That's how life works. I talked to some mayors. That ain't going to change anytime soon. We're all going to die, right? That's just part of life. Unless there's crazy medicine out there that we take and we live to 1,000 years old. I don't know if I want to, though. That's a bit of a stretch. And we're all going to end up disabled in some way, shape, or form. Whether that's old age, accident, illness, whatever it is. And guess what? Disability does not discriminate. You could be black, you could be gay, you could be indigenous, you could be whatever you identify as. But we will all become disabled in some way. Short term, long term, permanently, whatever. If it's not you, it's going to be somebody you know, your parents, your grandparents, your aunt, your uncle, all these different things. We need to become proactive instead of reactive. A lot of the world is reactive. Oh my God, there's a pandemic. What are we going to do? Well, we know there's another one coming in 100 years. Let's hopefully plan better for that one, right? All these different things. We need to become better. Designers, architects, all these different people, they need to think better. Instead of money, yes, there's money, I get it. But we need to think value. What am I adding value if I build an accessible home? What am I adding value if I build an accessible building? Because guess what, guys? Building it right the first time does not cost any more. It's when you go back and renovate, it's when it costs you millions upon millions of dollars, right? So remember that. So that's our business. Then the nonprofit side. I launched something with our team. There's a team of others. There's only four of us that make this whole thing go around. Me and my wife, and then two others. We launched something called the Hope Campaign. So Hope to us stands for help one person every day. So for 364 days, we want to give back to someone in the community. Could be a gift card to the restaurants that we work with. Maybe they don't get to go out for a nice dinner. We want to pay for that. Maybe it's a bill. Somebody needs a bill paid. We want to pay for that. Maybe it could be something small, hockey tickets, movie tickets, whatever, an experience. And on day 365, guys, in theory, it's going to be a little bit longer, but in theory, day 365, and I'm crazy. People told me I was nuts and I was crazy, and none of this is possible, okay? But remember, crazy people rule the world, right? But good crazy people, not those bad kind. Good crazy. Good crazy is good. Being passionate and all that stuff, that's good stuff. But on day 365, we want to build a fully accessible house. Me being my team, so the four of us want to build a fully accessible house and give it away. And all the money raised above and beyond this house will go back to a local charity that benefits people with disabilities. In turn, guys, creating that sense of community, bringing people together, fighting for the same thing, fighting for the same goal, building this house for somebody. Or it could be we're looking into a condo, maybe building a few different suites and giving them away, whatever. But that is our goal. Because I don't know if you guys, I'm not overly political. I try and stay out of the game. I do my own thing. That's why I started my own business. I can make my rules in a sense. Um, but if the last budget that came out last year, and I read this, I seen it and I read it. The government allotted $10,000 for accessible housing. That was it. I don't know about you guys, but I can't buy a house for $10,000. You could barely buy groceries. It seems like for $10,000. I'm joking. I know, but it seems that way, right? So, what makes you think people with disabilities can afford to live? They can't. A lot of them are becoming homeless. A lot of them are turning to addiction. All these different things. There needs to be a bigger voice. There needs to be a different way, and that's why we started our business to give people a platform, to be that voice. That if you don't want, you're not alone. I'm here. We're here. You know, I was at National Disability Day yesterday in Spruce Grove. I was the MC, and and we and Tiffany, that's great. But I am here to tell you, you are not an afterthought. We need to band together and and we need to make a loud enough noise that we're not an afterthought anymore. They can't ignore us, and that's my goal. So I was at National Disability Day yesterday. I ran into this 8-year-old boy. He has cerebral palsy, a mild form of CP. Remember, I have CP, but I'm in a chair. He has CP and he can walk. He is getting bullied at school. He feels isolated because he wears braces on his feet and all these things, and he's all alone. And when I finally got to talk to him yesterday, his eyes lit up, his face lit up because he knew he wasn't alone anymore. I gave him my number. He can reach out. We can, we'll go to, obviously with his parents, we'll go to the park. We'll hang out. I'll be like that big brother role model if I need to be. If that's what we got to do, that's what we need to do. To tell and ladies and gentlemen, I think it starts in schools. We need to teach people, but it starts with adults. We need to have these dinner table discussions with our kids at home. Why does Johnny look weird? Why is Johnny riding the chair? Why does Mary talk differently? All these different things. They're not weird, they're not crazy, they're unique. Everybody is unique in their own way. Guess what? People with disabilities, we're superhumans. I don't wear a cape, but I'm a superhero. I'm not a superhero to me, I'm a superhero to my family. I'm a superhero to the next generation that wants to give up and feels like quitting and feels like they're not enough and they don't feel heard and they're stuck in the same place. They can look at me and our journey. Um, and so that is what we're working on. We want to build a fully accessible house and give it away. We're actually giving away a power wheelchair every single year for Christmas. We're gonna have a winner announced next week. For that, we had over 50 nominations on our website. You can check that out as well. www.hopecampaign.ca. That's another big one. That's our Hope Campaign side. So hopecampaign.ca. Disabilityabd.com is our website. I'll leave it. You know what? If you need to, I'll give you my email, phone number as well. Uh, it's disability.abd@gmail.com. That's our website. Please reach out. I love to chat with every one of you, and it's about becoming together and how do we work together and build a better community together. Um, and that's me in a nutshell. I am so blessed. I'm so honored. Keep an eye out next year. Telus has given us $10,000 to film a movie and a documentary based on my life and our business. So keep an eye on that. That'll, I'm hoping, get to Netflix and Amazon and all these different things down the line as well. But one thing I could leave you with is don't quit. Don't quit. No matter how hard it gets, don't quit. There's people relying on you. There's people believing in you that you don't even know yet. There's people that are going to be lifelong friends that you don't even know yet. You can't quit. You can't quit. Fight. You're here for a reason. I made it 24 hours for a reason. I'm here and I'm fighting every single day, not for me, but for the people after me, my family, my and when they stand up at my funeral, they can say this is a guy that did something for his world and his community. I'm not some selfish guy. Sure, yeah, guess what? The money's good, whatever I can pay bills, but that's not what gets me out of bed in the morning. It's that little 8-year-old boy I talked to yesterday that's struggling to make friends, doesn't want to go back to school, thinking about killing himself already. That's the people I gotta live for. That's the people I gotta keep fighting for until they see that it's okay to be us. We're not. It's not weird. It's not. It's only weird if you make it weird. I got people. I still go out to the bar with a friend, and I'll have people come up to me and be like, "It's so good to see you out." And I'm like, "What? I'm not allowed to go out for a drink. I'm not allowed to go out for dinner." Like, and I got people that stare at me when I go to the mall or when I do all these things. You know what I tell people? And this is just me. Take a photo, it lasts longer, and I'll sign it for you and stick it on your fridge. And you can remember me for however long you need to remember me. Because you're never going to forget that face. Because I won't quit. I'm paving a way not only, again, for me and my family, but for the generation after me and generations to come. There needs to be change. There needs to be a slap in the face to the higher ups. I'm here to be that slap in the face. Um, and I always said, people, it's crazy. Like, what's it gonna take? It's gonna take a guy like me to die for them to finally make. Oh, you know what? Brad had a point. Let's finally make change. Let's finally implement some things. No, I want to see it when I'm here. Canada's got this thing of being fully accessible by 2050 or 2040. That's bullshit. I'm gonna be 60 years old almost. That's not good enough. And we always talk about legislation, and Alberta is the only province that doesn't have a disability legislation. Let me tell you something. Legislation is good, but it's only good if it's enforced. It's only good if there's accountability. My wife's from Ontario. They're very high on their Ontario Disability Act. Let me tell you something. It ain't so pretty because there's no enforcement. Guys, it's a piece of paper. That's all it is. We need to enforce. We need accountability. We need people to start believing in what we do and letting people know that we're here and we're not going anywhere. Right? Justice without action. I love it. So I am now going to turn it over. I'm going to shut up because that's what I do for a living. Thank you so much to all of you for tuning in. I am absolutely honored. Thank you again so much to the organizers for having me. I hope, I truly hope you got some value. I truly hope there was something there that you could take away and run with. I really, truly, from the bottom of my heart, I hope. I always sell, whether I'm speaking for 10 people, 1,000 people, whatever it is, if one person can take away my message and put it into action, then we're all better for it. So thank you. I will now turn it over for questions. So I'm open for whatever. I'm an open book. Tiffany, I can't hear you.
You'd think I'd learn to unmute my microphone.
It's all good.
Yeah, I was just going to say I'm here to help assist and kind of facilitate that. And just want to thank you,
Awesome.
Brad, for just sharing your story with us and kind of just being that force for change. and I think we really need. Um, I think
Thank
with
you.
our community, it can be really difficult for us to speak up when we face injustice because we're so used to it.
Hmm.
Um,
Yep,
and I think it's
I
gonna
agree.
take our community as well as like the allies who work with us to really push for that change.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny too. We got to work together. Like I look at the disabled community, and there's again not trying to offend anybody here, but there's people in the community that like they're fighting for themselves, and but I look at them like we're fighting for the same thing. Why don't we just come together and fight together? We're better together. Why would you do it on your own? And that was another part of the reason why I started my business. I wanted to build an army that we can go out and be that bigger voice. So
Yeah, and support each
I'm just
other.
doing my part.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still have about 9 minutes for questions or even comments. Um, I'm going to put the Mentimeter in the chat again, um, just for us to capture some of people's thoughts and reflections throughout the session. Feel free to drop in there if you don't want to respond in here and just share a few thoughts or any actionable items.
I'm an open book, so I'll answer whatever you got.
Actually, I have a question that oh, actually, let's pass it to Amanda, then I'll ask my question later. Um,
Sure.
Amanda asks, curious to hear how you started your business. Are you aware of any supports for entrepreneurs who have disabilities?
Uh, Thank you so much, Amanda. As far as I know, no. Nonprofit side, there is some things with the Hope campaign and stuff, but again, I wanted people to put skin in the game when they hired me and to really invoke change. So that's why we did the for profit instead. Um, but no, there was no grants for me. I literally had to, pool every ounce of money I had into it, get a business license. I was still on ACE at that point, and so I really had to, put stuff together. And thankfully, I got a great nucleus around me, a great support system, and just encourage me to, hey, this is gonna work, and you're gonna do it, and we were able to kickstart it, and I there was no, screwing around. My business opened in December, and we had our first client in February, and we were kind of off to the races. So, like I said, I'm literally like no joke about I guys. Like when I tell you I'm doing 20 to 30 meetings a day, like I don't end till 10, 11 o'clock at night some days because like I'm my only force at getting people to hire me, and now people are starting to come to me like now that we've done some work with municipalities and we've done some, work, they're starting to come to me. But unless I'm talking about it, nobody knows what we're doing. So, I mean, the more voices and the more people, the better. And that's why I'm here. So,
Yeah.
um, Ali as well next, and then Tiffany, we'll go back to you.
Yeah. Allie asks, you mentioned that you're growing across the country. How large is your business and how big would you like to see it get?
Thank you so much for that, Ali. I really appreciate that. As you can tell, I'm a dreamer. I love big. I want to be the place for disabled services. I want to be the place that disabled people go. They feel wanted, they feel accepted, they feel included. They want to be a part of something. Currently, right now, there's four of us. I think I mentioned that earlier. There's four. That's slowly expanding as as the company grows because there is no grants, there is no stuff like that. As the company grows, I'm able to now pay people. So there's three other people on payroll right now, but I love people across the country because if I can't be in a place, so Ali, let's say you're in Toronto. Well, I can't be in Toronto, but I can come to you if you wanted to start. I can come to you, mentor you, whatever. But then I have trust and belief in you that you're able to do what you need to do and grow your little team in Toronto and give people the platform if they wanted to like grow their own team within our company, right? So you can be the Toronto wing or wherever you are, and go ahead and do that. But I want to be $1 billion company. If I'm being honest, I want to make $1 billion, and it's because I want to eliminate every single barrier. I don't like saying no to people. So if we want to go build that house, I don't need to rely on a builder or developer to tell me it's $1 million and I gotta try and find another source of funding. I can go and do that. We could go build an entire community of disabled housing within other within the country, the city. They're not segregated. They're your neighbors. They're the people across the street. The kids you go to school with. So I want one of those or multiple of those across the country. I want to go global, because I'm seeing what Europe's doing and taking steps forward. I'm seeing what even the state's disability program is. That could be better. There could be some accountability there. So going down and tweaking that and expanding out there and just becoming a voice for communities that really need it. Ali, I hope that answers your question. But when I talk about big, I mean big.
Perfect. Um, Melissa mentions also that they love your idea for the Hope campaign and helping a person a
Yes.
day. Yeah, I really love that too. I think the other thing I would really love to see, and just not only the success of like your business, but like the success of other disabled owned and run businesses,
Yes.
and just the idea of like maybe like a nonprofit or like some grant being available where we could help our own community get those like initial steps,
Yeah.
so they can start those big businesses and have that level of success would be amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to me, Tiffany, that if you became disabled, so car accident or whatever, you would get a settlement and there's certain things the government would do. But because I was born with a disability,
Yeah.
because you would think I'd ask for it, right? I didn't ask to be this way, but I am. That the government won't give me anything. I gotta literally go and do it myself. So it makes it 10 times harder. But I like the idea of having even a mentorship program within that, and maybe I can mentor other startups in Edmonton that are starting up, and we start a Zoom group or a coffee group or whatever, and start bouncing ideas off each other and coming together, and instead of referring your regular friends and family for other things, maybe they do things that I don't do, and a client wants that, and I can refer them, and vice versa. So I love that idea for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think our the way society functions really ends up putting disabled people in silos. So anything that we can do to come together and build those bridges and conversations together is
Yeah.
actively fighting against that. And I think it's
Yep.
beautiful. Yeah, does
Yeah.
anyone have... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. And just to expand on the Hope campaign, thank you so much for that. It's really a brainchild of mine. I love it. It's a baby. But if you'd like to nominate or donate to that, right now we're funding the whole thing really. So if you want to donate, if you want to sponsor, if you want to nominate somebody, head over to www.hopecampaign.ca. That's our Hope Campaign website. All the info's on there. If you have any questions, again, feel free to email me. Again, disability.abd@gmail.com. Reach out on the website, www.disabilityabd.com. Facebook, Instagram, whatever. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Please feel free to reach out. I'd love to meet you all, and maybe there's partnerships along the way that we can do and collaborate on, and or someone's got an idea, I'd love to chat.
Yeah, perfect. I think we just have 2 minutes here. So any final thoughts for us, Brad, or any final questions for people?
No,
Maybe an
just
action you
what?
want people to take, even one thing they can do leaving the session to help the disability community or their own community.
When you see somebody out with a disability, or you see someone you know, that's quote unquote different in your, I've said it before, but don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to spark conversation, because you never know what that person's going through. And your conversation could simply change their life or their day. So be kind. Remember, it's about we, not me. So bringing everybody together. Again, I can't thank y'all enough. Thank you so much. I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you. If there's anything that I can do for you guys moving forward, you guys know how to get a hold of me, and I'm here and ready to support wherever I can.
Thank you. That's beautiful. I think that's a great thing to end off of. It's we, not me. and kind of take that as we head into our rest of our sessions. So we're going into, I believe, a half-hour break now between sessions. Yes. And then there's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more sessions starting in 30 minutes at 2 p.m. So hopefully we'll see all of you in there. Thank you
And
again, Brandon.
Tiffany, just a quick question. On the left hand side here, I'm seeing reception stages. I'm in sessions right now, networking,
Yes.
expo, etc. If I go into networking, will I be able to like interact with people and do that sort of thing?
Yeah, Hopin's a little bit weird. It's very, we were hoping it would be more like um an area where people could mingle with each other, but it's a little bit more
Yeah.
almost like speed dating where you can go one on one. So you kind of have to, you can do
Ah,
like it's a speed dating version, or you can connect individually with people. Um,
awesome.
so it's not quite what we were hoping for, but we'll make it work. But yeah, it's a great place. So
Yeah,
if you want to like meet up with other people that you've met in session and just quickly talk, it's a great place to do that.
yeah, that'd be awesome. So I'm gonna head over there for a few minutes as well. So if anybody wants to ask me questions privately or just
Yeah.
a quick one-on-one chat, I'd be happy to do that.
Awesome. And then I think there's also a networking session from 4 to 5 too, so more people should be in there as well. For
Sounds
sorry,
good.
Mountain Time. So in 2.5 hours. All right.
Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. It was an honor, privilege,
Oops.
and I look forward to connecting with you guys very soon. Thank you.